adventure. We're here at Allegheny Islands State Park, about 12 miles outside of the city of Pittsburgh, where the confluence of the three rivers is. As you can hear, a little noisy on this section. We are right along Route 28, the highway into the city, coming up on the Hulton Bridge, which will cross over the Allegheny River. We are going to have a fun leisurely paddle around 12 Mile Island, take in the scenery, see what the day has to offer. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's paddle. Let's paddle. We are paddling downriver, and that way we're going to go around 12 Mile Island here and go off-river where the boaters are, get the hard part out of the way first, and then have an enjoyable rest of the day.
Just south of the boat launch is where the train derailed a few years ago. Ooh, that's a fresh smell. Ooh. Ooh. That's a little ripe. Water treatment plant right there. You can see the new construction over there, the bridge. That's where the train derailment happened. If they ever get rid of all these buoys, I might go down that way. This beautiful natural waterfall from the water treatment plant.
Cool, I mean, nauseous after today, huh? That's a lot of waves. Waves. How big they are. Woo-hoo! A little shallow here. I'm gonna go out. Whoa, the waves. Woo! What's going on today? That's always fun going around that corner. Shallow, the waves, boaters.
Oh, that's
Where's the no wave?
up farther.
Or is it all waves down here?
On this side. Oh, these would be some good waves. When you got a lot of waves, make sure you turn into them.
How would you ending up in the middle of the river?
Coming up to the smaller islands that people like to beach on. Get out, have a few drinks, throw their trash all over the place.
So yeah, so depending on the season, you get more beach or less beach, or more sandbar or less sandbar. Right now it looks like it's a little up. You can't paddle through there.
It's pretty high right now.
The Island State Park is a love-hate. I've been coming here for 6 years. Matt and I have 4. And it's wonderful because it's so close to home. And you can get out of the city and see this beautiful section of river with the islands. And you can't get to the state park unless you have a boat or some non-motorized vehicle here. But it's noisy. If you hear any of our videos, you hear the railroad, the turn. We're about to go under the turnpike. Route 28, here comes another boat. It's not the most serene place to paddle. But it has the convenience of one car, and you can meet up with your friends, and everyone can get on the water. And on a weekday, it can be very calm and lovely. Maybe you see one boater. Today we've seen a lot of boaters. And one jet skier that keeps hovering. So right over here to the left, very first time I fell off my paddleboard. I think it was October 2019.
Here's the state park on your left. It's not much to look at. It's overgrown. The bridge going through the middle of it, but it's unique and you have to paddle to it. No way to walk to it. It's like, interesting facts about this. It's an island. Done.
Walking dam number 3 on the Allegheny River.
You can see it up there.
Well, officially we're heading into the Pennsylvania Turnpike. New Kensington exit. It's kind of loud. And then we have our lock and dam number 3 ahead of us. I don't think I've ever been down this far, have you?
Nope, never been down this far.
Max lands on the scaredy cat. Well, there is a dam up there.
Yes, we're not going to go that close to the dam.
Dams are dangerous.
You're damn right.
But it would be fun to go through that lock.
I mean, one day I'd like to do the entire Allegheny.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of a bucket list item, maybe finish the Allegheny.
Starting all the way up there in Coldersport and then going through New York.
Oh,
and then
327 miles, baby.
all the way.
Now we'd have to map out how long that would take us.
On our boards,
A
3
month?
weeks.
How many locks? How many how many rapids? I don't know where the locks, where the dams start, but they're definitely south of East Brady. There's a lot of water turning. Maybe like a dam buoy where
Those are don't go any farther buoys.
yeah, no, this goes past it.
No, they're right next to it.
They're right next to it. Well, there's the one that looks like it's in the tree.
Yes.
What are you feeling like here down at the end? Email Island.
I don't know, it just looks like it gets a little too close to the dam. Don't know how close it gets.
Power out of it.
Yeah, I'm tired right now.
So maybe it's fine, but nice. You like trying it?
Not really.
Turn around.
Turn around. On our way back.
All right, let's. All right.
Going through the middle to the inner side, so we'll be able to stand up the whole way now. Easy chair. Does feel high. Already starting a fire.
I'm paddling through these little sandbars, shoals, depending on the water level. Today it's the perfect level. So I have some fun facts about the Allegheny Islands State Park. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, I do want to hear
You
them.
want to hear them?
I want to hear
Okay.
them.
So this officially became a skate park in December 1980. And it's a 43-acre area that has no development, no facilities. There are some private homes, but that's it. So you're gonna come here, you're gonna have to have your own boat, your own non-motorized boat, vessel, kayak, canoe, paddleboard, to get to explore the Allegheny Islands. So we've been coming here for 6+ years, exploring it, and we learned something pretty cool recently. So back in the 1800s, the early 1800s, a man by the name of Benjamin Franklin Brewster bought the island. It had been owned by several people before him, but he bought the island, moved in, and there was quite a bit of drama that came from that. So I think it was like 1812, and there was a woman on the island that the locals just, they thought she was peculiar. And they labeled her a witch, and she was practicing witchcraft, allegedly. And so Mr. Brewster, who was a lawyer and not really a judge, but practiced as a judge because there was no other judge here on the island, he said, okay, I'll set up a trial. Had a trial on the island, the locals came, and there was a lot of evidence about this woman, accusing her as a witch. So later that night, he dismissed the trial for the day and said he had to do a little more research because he had not ever tried a case in witchcraft, so he didn't know what actually to do. So sends everybody home for the day. The locals go home, they leave the island, and he tells the woman, you gotta leave because your life is in danger. And she does. And so the next day he had to have a mistrial. The locals were upset. He was not in favor anymore. He was not a well-loved man of the Brewster Island that he owned. And that was that interesting story. We don't know what happened to the woman who was named a witch, but quite a peculiar story. So poor Mr. Brewster, owner of the land, thought he was doing a great job serving as lawyer, judge, backfired. He was on the outs with the locals. Don't you know, 20-some years later, it was the pirates that took him and his daughter and his grandsons hostage. Luckily, he had a boat hidden in the forest, escaped at night, never to be seen again on the island. And we learned later, we think he fled to the Ohio River, took his family, and ended up down in Texas. And this is a long time ago. This is the 1830s. But quite an interesting story for this area. It seems so quiet and quaint today.
And you might think, because Mr. Brewster was kidnapped by pirates, that's where the Pittsburgh Pirates got their name. Not true. They originally called the Pittsburgh Alleghenies, but then they were criticized for stealing all the other good players off the teams.
I kind of thought that.
Yeah.
I thought when I read about the pirates, I'm like, river pirates, that makes sense. There would be river pirates back in the day. And there were. It's not how they got their name.
No. So they were called thieves, pirates, stealers. So they kind of had fun with the name and ended up calling their baseball team the Pittsburgh Pirates. So it's not actually named after pirates. It's because they would steal good players. Oh gosh.
Teams.
Another interesting fact, at one point, every Pittsburgh team was named Pirates. Not at the same time, but they all had the name Pirates at one point in their history.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Fast forward to the late 1800s, early 1900s, and this was a booming town. This was local Pittsburghers from the city. They wanted to escape the mess of the time. It would be like dirty city streets, and they wanted to come out into the wilderness. In just a short amount of time, they could be up here joining the canoe clubs. And so there were many canoe clubs along the river. People would spend their afternoons on the weekends canoeing. And this island had a dance hall and a snack shop, a 1,000-foot beach, and people would bring their canoes and they'd hang out and they would enjoy their weekend. They kind of say it was like the old trolley towns, or the trolley, what do they call the trolley parks? We've seen those in Oil City and Franklin, and Sounds like a really fun time. Here we are today, 2024. Local House is a very quiet island. Yes, you hear the city streets, city highways and the turnpike and the railroad, but still has that quaint feeling of a time lost because you don't have cars. You gotta boat in. You gotta bring your groceries across your boat across the river. It's got quite a special atmosphere. And that is why we like Allegheny Islands State Park. It's not the quietest place, but it's got a unique history. It's close to home. It's beautiful. It's a lovely place to paddle for a sunset Saturday night. And from that, we'll sound off on another successful adventure, paddling PA.